Hey, good morning from the office. I'm your host, BKP. It's good to be back this morning. North Georgia's only live online morning show. And I want to thank Rick for sitting in yesterday and doing a very special Veterans Day show. Thank you very much, Rick, and your guest yesterday. I hope I've inherited this flag. Now, you may have this little flag stand, you may have forgotten it and you want it back. If you do, that's fine, but I have the Marine flag right here and the American flag, and this little flag stand came in this morning, found this on the table. So if it's something I can keep, I'd like to, but if not, I will return it. We have our Keep America Great 2020 hat. We got to talk about the Republicans' doomsday scenario out there. I'm your host, BKP. It's good to be back. It is Tuesday morning in North Georgia. Raining. I tell you what, yesterday had to venture into Atlanta. The drive back yesterday was so bad in that rain, and just be safe out there today. Wherever you're going, be safe with all this rain. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, it's 706-889-9700, 706-889-9700. And also, you can find us there on the internet, FYNTV, Fetch Your News. That's the Instagram. On our social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So, all right, folks. We want to go a couple places this morning. I want to talk about voting machines in Georgia, all right? And I want to talk about some of the facts that they're not telling you. You have been inundated with lies from the media about all the voting machines that did not work, the lines, and a lack of voting machines, not enough. And the truth has just not been told. Think about it like this. How come the most rural counties in Georgia can get this right, but the metro Atlanta counties cannot? Now, the answer is not, well, rural counties don't have as many voters. Okay? No, that's not the answer. Okay? Rural counties don't have as many machines. Rural counties don't have as many votes. Not the answer of what the problem is. We'll get into that in a little bit. But you may be interested to see here. Pull up. Obviously, they found. Give me number 6 there. That is a federal judge right there. Number 6, federal judge. And that is Amy. Let me get to the story I'm looking at this morning. One, you have a New York Times story. And I want to talk about this judge for a minute. Okay. Federal judge delays certification of Georgia election results. Okay, this is the judge here. Federal judge on Monday ordered a delay in the certification of Georgia election results, citing concerns about the state's voter registration system and handling of provisional ballots. The decision effectively deepened the turmoil in Georgia's campaign for governor, a still unsettled contest. It is settled, folks. Settled contest that has been among the most acrimonious campaigns in the nation this year. Although the ruling by Judge Amy Totenberg, a federal district court in Atlanta, formally affected every election in Georgia for the state and federal office, okay? So here is the lady, okay, let's put it like this, in which the Democrat candidate Stacey Abrams is within 21,000 votes of forcing a runoff election against Brian Kemp. This is a national disgrace. So first of all, this judge is an Obama, appointee. All right? Period. All right, so they ran and found an Obama appointee. Now, who else did they find? Now, you remember right before. Now, this has got a couple twists and turns. So, first of all, the leadership of Georgia. You have known for years that the citizens of Georgia want a new voting system overwhelmingly. Okay? You have had several years. So we can't just go and blame this on a liberal judge, which is true. We're going to, but we just got to lay some blame where it's at, where it needs to be. Georgia Republican leadership, all Georgia Republicans across the state of Georgia, you have known for years, several years, that the citizens of Georgia wish to have a different voting system. Now, that is overwhelmingly, and there was a proposed backup receipt, paper receipt, okay, and a backup system put into place that was going to be put into place, but it did not pass this year. It was said it would cost the state too much money. It would cost too much money for local elections or local small counties to implement and train. Now, we're going to go a couple different ways. Number one, why does it cost too much for local counties? Why didn't we put a little money in the state budget to help the counties with a transition on a voting system? But this is exactly what we've ended up with. We did not get there was legislation in place. There was on the Secretary of State's primary campaign for Republicans a big push to change the election system in Georgia. But no, we did not. Now, she is a liberal judge, okay? And everything has been set up, and it's been set up for quite some time. Now, they won't certify the vote in Georgia until Friday now. But now let's go back just a little bit here, okay? Let's go back to September 18th, all right? Judge says Georgia elections at risk, but rules against paper ballots. Georgia voters will continue to use touchscreens to cast their ballots this fall. Perhaps for the last time, a federal judge found a concrete risk, she wrote on September 18th, that Georgia's electronic voting system is vulnerable for tampering, but she ruled against a quick switch to paper ballots less than 4 weeks before an early voting begins for the November election. U.S. District Judge Amy Totenberg, right there she is, late Monday denied a motion from election integrity advocates. Common Cause is already is in the lawsuit. Okay, they were right up here in LHA. I met the lady, and they said they would sue. I talked to her. U.S. District Judge Amy Totenberg late Monday denied a motion from election integrity advocates, Common Cause, who asked for her to force the state's 6.8 million registered voters to use hand-marked paper ballots instead of direct recording electronic voting machines. Totenberg scolded state election officials who had buried their heads in the sand. This is this woman here. Now, this is the one that granted yesterday, said yesterday that Georgia can't certify to vote. I mean, I think it's going to take up to Friday. This is the one, the Abrams campaign, or whoever it is, I forget who brought the lawsuit, so let's not split hairs, found this same judge. This was all set up. Totenberg scolded state election officials who had buried their head in the sand by failing to safeguard Georgia's voting system. She allowed the state to continue using electronic voting machines because a rushed transition to paper ballots could frustrate voters with bureaucratic confusion and long lines. Her decision ensures that the Georgia's 27,000 touchscreen machines will remain in place for the election for governor between Democrat Stacey Abrams and Brian Kemp, who is responsible for overseeing the election. In-person early voting starts. All right. So the judge listened. All right. With the ruling behind us, we will continue our preparations for the secure, orderly election, Kemp said. Our state needs a verifiable paper trail, but we cannot make such drastic changes in this election cycle. So let's go to one thing. First of all, let's get the facts. So so we have the New York Times. We have everybody. Okay, everybody. So the AJC, judge orders review of provisional ballots in Georgia election. A federal judge on Monday ordered election officials to review thousands of provisional ballots that haven't been counted in Georgia's close election for governor. U.S. District Judge Amy Totenberg's order called for a hotline for voters to check if their provisional ballots were counted. A review of voter registrations and updated reports from the state government, but why many voters were required to use provisional ballots. The court's decision comes as votes are still being counted in the race for governor between Democrat Stacey Abrams and Republican Brian Kemp. Abrams trails Kemp and would need to gain more than 20,000 additional votes to force a runoff. Okay. Totten said she's providing limited, modest relief to help protect voters. The order preserves Tuesday's deadline for the county election offices to certify results and the November 20 deadline for the Secretary Robin Crittenden to certify the election. That is the Secretary of State, the appointed. The ruling, okay. Her ruling applies to provisional ballots which were issued as many as 27,000. Georgia voters became voters because their registration or identity couldn't be verified. Let me move quickly past this. Try to quit my stumbling around. This is the federal judge. This is the federal judge that scolded the state earlier. They found the same judge, okay? This is the judge that ruled yesterday on the provisional ballots or giving them more time. This is the number all over the internet. Go to number 7. Did you have a problem at the poll or cast a provisional ballot? Call to be sure your vote is counted. Voter Protection Hotline. All over the internet. Abrams, okay? This is all over the internet. Almost anywhere you go. Number 8. Where are the votes? Okay? Count every vote. Hashtag count every vote. Kemp claims provisional 21,190. Early vote 0. Vote by mail 0. Military 0. Okay? We've identified, this is Stacey Abrams saying, we've identified 26,846 provisional, 1,303 early, 2,674 and by mail, and 2,684 military. Okay? Potential 33,507. All right. Now, so she has not conceded the race. Let's go to number 17. I'm pretty sure it's number 17. The New York Times, MSNBC, loving every minute of it. Federal judge delays certification of Georgia election results. Okay, so an Obama judge, which they found in September, which went after the state leadership for not changing the voting machines or changing the way we vote in Georgia in September, but said she laid the groundwork. This federal judge, Obama appointee, laid the groundwork in September that she sees a lot of problems with our voting in Georgia. But there would be no way to implement a paper ballot in time for this election. Okay? But she goes on record, it's going to be a major problem. She can see it coming. Well, interestingly, she was able to see that coming in September, and interestingly, the Abrams campaign was able to find her just in time to get a delay in certifying the elections in Georgia. Now, let's see, let's not bore you yet with local stuff, right? So, the bottom line is the leadership in Georgia knew this was coming. All right? And we knew what was about to happen. We here on the show, we told you over and over about the New Georgia Project. We've known for years what Stacey Abrams and the Democrats were up to. Now she's 20,000 votes short of a runoff, and there'll not be a runoff. But they're pouring the money in, and they're doing everything they can to manipulate this to see if they can push it to a runoff election between Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams. Kemp has gone on, moved forward, and started putting his transition team together and working to be prepared to be the next governor of Georgia, while Abrams is keeping us on the front page, national page, all around the country. They don't like to be called rhinos. They don't like to be called the establishment. But what happened in the last election certainly is something that Georgia needs to pay attention to concerning their Republican leadership. And let me say that in all due respect to the leadership. I'm not going to get in a big fight with you, but, all right, they're going to lead you to believe this week that the Democrats, the Republicans, here's what I like, is the Republicans are going to do soul searching, okay? And the Republicans will not come out and admit, and this is in Georgia, but so goes Georgia, so goes the country. I told you that before. And I want to bring this up because the media is painting the Republican Party now of the party of the white male. Okay? And the party of the white male. And they're going to tell you the rising Hispanic vote in the country. If you look at Texas, Arizona, and Georgia, okay? Texas, Arizona, and Georgia. What is changing in the demographics of our states? And Republicans will buy into that's the reason they lost the 6th district with Karen Handel. They will buy into that's why they lost Metro Atlanta. They will buy into this, rather than look at the facts that Georgia Republicans have made it hard made it very hard it's hard to figure out the difference in so many cases in Georgia of what a Republican is and what a Democrat is and where those lines are blurred and cross. It's hard to differentiate between some Republicans in Georgia and Democrats. This is a truth moment, okay? You're still sitting on a Republican majority. Now you stop and think about it. You're still sitting on a Republican majority in the House and Senate in the state of Georgia. That at one time was a Democrat majority, but only the party label changed, the people didn't, for the most part. And what I mean by that is we are still in Georgia with an enormous amount of Democrats posing as Republicans. That's all there is to it. You can continue to thank Nathan Deal for the job creation in Georgia and giving the tax deals. We'll go into that in just a minute, all right? But federal judge is stopping us from certifying an election at least till Friday. An Obama appointee. I want to cover some more of that in a little bit, but I do want to say this. And let's go a little deeper here. Let's go to number 3. Not talked about anywhere. Not talked about in the Fox News is not talking about it. MSNBC, nobody's talking about it. There's Jim Jordan and Kevin McCarthy. I'm going to tell you now, Republicans have had it, okay? The House of Representatives, they're going to give you all kinds of data, okay? Axios.com has out the doomsday scenario, for Donald Trump here in the next 2 years. You were told that John Boehner had to be the guy, all right? Republicans are good at accepting. Okay, Boehner has to be the guy. Okay, well, maybe our conservative congressman can push him in the way. 2010 major Tea Party Republican wins. Conservative wins all across this country. Conservative wins all across this country. There was a time when Marco Rubio was a Tea Party favorite, and that's how he's there. Tea Party, conservative wins all across this country. Pushes Republicans into the majority in the House of Representatives. But we sat back as Republicans and said, you know what? Well, you know, I know John Boehner's not our guy. And I'm really not looking, but you know what? My congressman won, and maybe my congressman will keep him conservative. So we accepted that. All right? It was shoved down our throats as Republicans, and I don't care how you want to put it. Second, then we end up with Boehner leaving, and Boehner calls in, where are we at in this? You got to ask yourself, where are we in this discussion? You and I, the Republicans, the ones that send your representatives there to so-called represent your interest. Where are we in the discussion? Why are our elected officials not caring about us and caring more about their position and their level of, you know, where they're going to be on the chain versus representing what we want? So then we get told, you know, basically Paul Ryan comes in. I did this the other day, and he comes in and he says, hey, you know, Boehner says, hey, it's yours. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. There's this major omnibus spending bill, okay, on your desk, right? Boom. Ryan is the man. He is given the crown. And you and I are sitting at home saying, how the hell did this happen? How did we get Paul Ryan? All right, go to 1 and then 2. 1 and 2. All right, how did we get Paul Ryan? How did we? We were told we had to have it. Now we're really not happy. And we're not happy to a point that that omnibus bill passed. And I'm going to tell you, all across this country, a lot of congressmen, they were primaried. A lot of them were primaried over that spending bill. It was upsetting. All right? We called our congressman, go to number 2. We called our congressman, there's Paul Ryan and Kevin McCarthy. We called our congressman the whole time that they were putting the omnibus bill together with Boehner. We were telling our congressman, no, no, no. And then he leaves and Ryan gets the job. And Ryan comes out and gives us the worst excuse ever. Ever. About spending bill. It was on his desk. The cake was baked. I'll never forget it. You have to accept it. We're tired of accepting it out here. You need to realize why you really lost Republican House. So Ryan says, hey, you got to accept it. I don't want to be Speaker. Now he doesn't want to be Speaker. Take a minute and look up what this kid, to me he's a kid, what this kid is leaving with. His retirement, his pension, same in the, whatever. Okay, look at what this guy's taking home. Look at his parting gifts at his age, what he gets for retiring as Speaker of the House. As Speaker, he's not going to retire as Minority Leader. He's getting the I'm the Speaker package to leave. Yes, big time. Look at his retirement that he's taking home. So he's leaving. And he's calling in this guy here, Kevin McCarthy. Another 3 in a row. Go to number 4. This is the guy, Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan, the bulldog, Jim Jordan, the wrestler. They've done everything. They tried to make up accusations about him in the locker room. They tried to make up accusations that he's seen things while a wrestling coach or heard of things and did not act on. They've done everything. They did so many things trying to destroy this guy. This guy is trying to save the republic for which it stands. This guy right here, Jim Jordan. That's the man, congressman from Ohio. Go to number 3. Folks, you need to call your congressman and tell your congressman you want them to vote for Jim Jordan for Minority Leader. And that you've had enough with the hand-me-down and you had enough with who's in line next. Look at what the Democrats are doing, okay? They're going right back to Nancy Pelosi. We have to stop our House of Representatives from being manipulated the way they want. Is there something wrong? Is there a difference in the sides? Can you find a difference in a Democrat and Republican? Or is it all the same and they're playing games with us, the American people? Nancy had it, then she didn't. Boehner had it, then he didn't. Ryan had it, then he didn't. Nancy's going to get it. And he's going to get the minority. And then what happens in a couple years? They play games, we vote them out. And guess what? He is majority leader. It's a game they're playing. We need to once and for all, as the Republican Party, we need to stand up and demand that Jim Jordan be the next minority leader of the Republican Party in the House of Representatives. I'm sorry. It's not a like or dislike the congressman, wherever you're at in your district. It's just the facts. I'm going to tell you something. If Kevin McCarthy goes in, you're going to have the next Tea Party. It's getting ready to happen, okay? It's getting ready to happen. You missed it. Guess what? In 2010, we had a Tea Party revolt in this country. And we turned the House red. And we thought we did it for all the right reasons. And we thought they would go up there for all the right reasons and do all the right things that was required, that we required to lead the House of Representatives. No, it did not. Spending never changed. I better take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to continue to talk about this. We're going to talk about Florida. We're going to talk about how Georgia needs to thank God. I know, I'm saying some things you wish I wouldn't say, but you need to thank God that Amazon picked New York and Northern Virginia instead of Georgia. And it has to do with our election, and I'll explain why. Take us a break.